Well, this is a first, I think. I don't usually encounter camels during my paddling trips, but you know. Yeah, it's just so peaceful over here. Yeah, it's really peaceful here. And now, yeah, the water is completely calm. Unfortunately, I won't have, by the looks of it, the current pushing me quite as much as it did initially. It gave me a little bit of extra speed there. But this is basically what I expected from my research on Google Maps. Of course, the tricky part is if you're watching, for example, a satellite view on Google Maps, you don't necessarily know when that satellite map was taken. So my indication of what the level of current and rapids and whatnot would be, and how it kind of decreases the further north I get, that is based off largely that or that section on Google Maps, the satellite view. Alright, so I'm in a new location again in the Paddling in 100 Cities project, this time in Älvkarleby, a bit southeast of Gävle in Sweden. And today I will be paddling past at least 3 towns, so Älvkarleby, Skutskär, and eventually Furuvik out at sea. And it's going to be a nice day by the looks of it. It's August, and not enormously warm today, but still warm, and not much wind, so it should be a good day. Let's explore some new places here. Alright, so I actually made a little bit of a mistake this time, in the sense that this trip was planned fairly spontaneously. Just last night I decided on this particular combination, and I've never been here before, and it turns out the train station where I just landed is actually a bit further away from the actual town than I thought, and it's actually on the other side of the river. And it's not really a problem, it's just that I had kind of checked out a bus station initially, I realized, and I didn't quite think of that the train station of course is on the other side. It just means that I'll have to walk maybe a kilometer and a half extra, because I do need to get past, even if I get to the river, which I will quite soon, I need to get past the power station, I believe, and I don't want to get into the water before that, because there could be a lot of current, and it could actually be dangerous. And not knowing the area, that means, well, actually here is the bridge, so I'll be able to see this. So I can either walk across this island and get that soon, kind of see the river from there and go over to the other side where I was intending to go, or I could stay on this side and kind of just go along the river. But that might be less fun, even if it's the most straightforward solution. Over here the water is quite calm, but you can kind of hear the current in front of me. So I will definitely have to walk for a little bit, and it's not the end of the world. It's a good warm day, and it means a little bit more walking. As that the dam might open without warning, so you don't want that. And over there is actually the a lot of rocks, and you can see that there's current. It's new in the sense that where I live again in Stockholm, there isn't moving water like this, so we don't have dams like this, and it's not often I'm over here. This is the first time I'm in this location, and it's not often I'm by this river. Oh yeah, this is quite a dramatic scene. Waterfalls down there, and quite a lot of movement. Definitely not something to be kayaking. Plus some research and reading online. But of course, that could have been filmed when the water levels were not at maximum, and if I had hit maximum water levels or water flow here, it could have been much wilder. So that's something to take into account, which is why you always want to be ready to double check the conditions on site and adapt if necessary. And here what I did was I walked to see the falls there. Obviously you can absolutely not paddle there. It would be lethally dangerous and also forbidden. There were clear signs there that you're not allowed, and you would be fined and whatnot. But I mean, if you went out there, and it was a sealed off area, it was extremely clear. If you went out there somehow and you somehow survived, yeah, you would just be stupid. I mean, that was not a place to be. But even the rapids further down, I could probably have handled them easily in this kayak. But again, if I were to hit a rock or some section where the currents were somehow combining to make a dangerous section, that would have been a bad thing. And I'm paddling solo here, so what I did was, I have my kayak in a backpack. I just walked along the river for a while until I came to a section that I felt was safe, and now it's absolutely no issue whatsoever. So if, however, things had looked much worse, my backup plan would have been to go back to the community there, to the town, and take a bus or train to the next location, Skutskär, which is closer to the sea and where the water flow would definitely have been much calmer in all circumstances. So basically always adapt and check the weather forecast, as I've done many times, and make sure to mitigate risk. If you're doing what I do right now, paddling solo, it's extremely important that you do that. And then basically, if you're in white water, that's not a place you should be alone. So that's something to take into account. And in this case, I was able to avoid that. And now I'm just enjoying new areas here. It will be open water for a while on the river until I get to some sections where I can kind of paddle some mini river passages across some of the islands there by the look of the map. And it should be a relaxed couple of hours paddling, and then when I get out to sea, there is not much wind in the forecast, so that shouldn't be an issue. That's also important to check, because this kayak, even if I'm capable in it, if I had strong winds blowing me away from shore, I wouldn't go paddling there, simply because there's nothing to stop me from just being, if I were to be incapacitated for some reason and couldn't paddle well, basically I would be just blown out to sea. There would be nothing to stop me. So that's always a safety consideration. And overall, that being said, it's all about just enjoying nature. And this is not quite out in nature yet. I think this is a golf course on my left. There are still houses and cottages, and you see a few boats here and there on land and such. Yeah, that's a golf course for sure. This isn't quite out in nature as such. I'm not gonna be quite out in nature either much during my trip here, but I will see other interesting things. And actually, towards the end of my trip, when I'm out along the coast there should be both an amusement park, which I might not see, but not far from the waterline there's actually supposed to be an enclosure with camels. So that's a first during my paddles. And there should also be an old military bunker that's now a museum. So a few things that are quite interesting along the route here. And I've already had a great time. I could go home right now if I had to, and not feel that I wasted my time. And by the way, there is enough current to assist me a bit. You can see that my kayak is gliding towards the side here. And there it looks like you would have had some mudslides. See the trees out in the water there. Yeah, this helps. I mean, this keeps me moving faster with less energy, and I'm not complaining. So yeah, good times. All right, so I'm actually paddling 6.8 kilometers per hour, which is faster than you could normally do comfortably in this kayak, unless you were working like crazy. So clearly I'm getting some help from the current here still, because I haven't even been putting any real effort into my paddling. I'm just relaxing here. So that's a bonus. I am now approaching the windmill park here. And as I said, this is the first time that I have ever paddled this close to a windmill park, actually.